Questions have been raised about safety protocol at work sites after the latest construction accident this year. So far, at least 9 workers have died in January alone, all related to work site accidents. Let's take a look at the numbers over the past few years. As you can see, the number of workers who died from construction accidents has been increasing. From January to October 2013, there were 27 fatal injuries. This is more than that in the whole of 2012. In 2011, the number was 22. The latest accident happened last week in Sentosa when scaffolding at a construction site near Palawan Beach gave way. 1 worker died and 10 were injured. The Manpower Ministry has imposed a complete stop work order on the entire work site for at least 2 weeks until it is satisfied that safety conditions have been met. To tell us more about workplace safety is Jackson Yap. He's the chairman of a committee within the Workplace Safety and Health Council. Jackson, thanks for joining us. Now, what are we concerned about? Are there gaps in the worksite practices or safety culture?
Generally, just to start, any one accident for us is already of concern. One fatality, even more, and the spate that we saw last month was really worrisome. The investigations are going on, so I don't really want to speculate as to the cause. Of course, the big worry was whether it was systemic. I don't think it was, but anyway, the investigations are still going on. For all jobs and all works that we do, they normally start with a risk assessment. So we always hope that the risk assessment is properly done. And the risk assessment means you try to anticipate and try to iron out potential problem areas for you in the work site. Then, of course, they worry also good planning is also essential. Needless to say, the proper work processes need to be adhered to.
Okay, risk and processes aside, let's look at the people that are in focus. Along the chain, we're talking about developers, contractors, and individuals themselves. What more can be done at these levels?
Well, it's good that you mentioned the chain, because it's not just the contractor that's the person responsible for safety. The developer plays an important role. He's the first in the chain that starts the whole project. So we got to have his buy-in into safety and good work practices. So of course there's the contractor, and then the individuals. The individuals include the supervisor. Supervisors are key in this area. Now we have a program called Design for Safety under the council, Workplace Safety Council, and Design for Safety really involves the contractor, the developer, the architect, the engineers, developer, and so on. And this is try to anticipate problems before you even put the first nail in the ground, the first cement into the ground. So you look at the design stage and you try to make sure that it's buildable and its safety or the risk aspects are identified early enough.
All right, speaking of early enough, we're talking about training as well. Are we confident that everyone on the work site is sufficiently trained?
Well, there are a lot of training programs, and all workers that go on site actually do undergo training programs before they're allowed on site. But of course, the other thing is during while they're working for you, they should also be reinforced. They should be retrained and updated with the latest developments in the construction industry. Sure.
There is a new framework that is being developed. Can you tell us a little bit more?
Actually, it's not quite a framework. It's a sectoral plan for the construction to achieve certain standards by the year 2018. And it involves a couple of things like, for instance, increasing competencies and some of the workers, and that includes that training that we just talked about. And then there is things like ensuring that there's a business case to safety. If you make a business case for it, I think there'll be also more buy-in through the private sector. And these things we are working closely. One of them, of course, is the Design for Safety, which I just mentioned. Right. And that we have a subcommittee on that looking into that.
Right. Now, Acting Manpower Minister Tan Chuan Jin visited the Sentosa worksite when the accident happened. Now, he said, I quote, "It shouldn't be because punishments are heavier, therefore people follow." Now, the minister is clearly talking about a culture of safety. So there needs to be a balance of legislation, enforcement, and getting the message to the people on the ground. What more can we do?
I think definitely legislation enforcement is needed. We from the private sector hope that it's not too severe and so on. But we on our part must do things to make sure that the legislation doesn't kick in. So the drive for safety should be actually led by the private sector, and we should play a bigger role in that. I think in a way, you try to imbibe and talk and repeat, I hate to say this, like a broken record, so that it becomes part of your DNA or your culture. And we do have a program that tries to bring people into a safety culture. I think one of the things that like we're doing here is that through the show, we hope that people who are not in the industry also understand safety.
All right, Jackson, thanks for joining us. Thanks for your insights.
Pleasure. Thank you.
And that was Jackson Yap from the Workplace Safety and Health Council. We're going for